There's no cleanup. No
We're
cleanup.
gonna have to.
Oh,
That's how you know you're in the Matrix.
All right, welcome back to episode 5 of Super Neutral Bros. As always, I am Jared.
Eric.
Zach.
Jordan.
Great enthusiasm there, Jordan. You keep that up for this whole episode. I love it.
It's
Just,
like he forgot.
you're pulling in people with that. Like, people are watching just
They're
energy
for
rooting
that.
is
for you.
contagious.
They're rooting for you to get a word in edgewise.
My energy is contagious, just like my
On the show.
bronchitis.
All right.
Oh.
So, starting with episode 5 this week, Bloody Mary, and Eric's got his Bloody Mary that he promised he would
You
have
have a
from
Bloody
last
Mary.
episode. It is not a morning, and that's usually a morning drink. So I'm wondering how that's gonna go for him.
Starting my day
juice
right
at
now.
10 o'clock at night. Yum.
Yeah.
Day doesn't start till 11
Doctor
o'clock.
said
Third
you
one
get more
goes down
vegetables
better.
in my diet.
More vegetables.
All right. So, general opinions of the episode. I thought it was a pretty decent one. I don't know. Every week I develop a new fear with this show, so that's good.
I was gonna say that.
Open water, flying, mirrors. Sweet. Excellent. But overall, I thought it was a decent episode. You get a lot more background, or not background, but they really touch on Sam's problems with sleeping and his nightmares, and you even get a non-bloody view of his girlfriend for once in this episode. Get that at one point. But overall, I thought it was a pretty good episode. I don't know what you guys think. Go ahead, Eric. You can tell us what your thoughts are on it.
Yeah, I really enjoyed this episode. I think it's probably the scariest episode we've had in the show so far.
They
Because
really leaned on the horror scary style for this episode.
yeah, this one went full horror in a lot of places.
Yeah, the episode, I think they did a really good job of blending the horror and the like Sam and Dean moments. Fuck Jill's death. Anytime in a movie where like someone's looking in the mirror and they look away and the mirror thing doesn't do what the person's doing, I don't play that shit. But also has one solid comedic line in there in the whole show, which we can get to that later. But yeah, I think it overall was a really good episode. Apparently, odd number of episodes are where it's at on this show.
Gotta sprinkle
Yeah.
them in.
I'd say so. Zach, go ahead. What did you think?
Yeah, I mean, I love this episode. This was a great episode. I definitely, I don't know if it's me, like the expectations get raised on a good episode, and then one doesn't quite stand up, and I'm extra disappointed. And then maybe the real difference is like here to here, but you raise and lower them, and it feels more and less in these episodes. But I thought this one was amazing. It clipped right along. It ran smooth. Just it played great the whole way through. I sat and thoroughly enjoyed the whole thing. I just pulled back a few times, just like, man, this everything's hitting. Everything they're trying works. It feels good. When the funny parts are funny, the scary parts are scary. Jill was the girl that did die, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, when she was looking in the mirror with blood coming out of her eyes, I'm doing the calculus in my head. I'm like, okay, so this is a network TV show, so we're probably not going to see her eyes pop, but also I'm scared. I was literally watching it like ready to just I was like, if it goes, I can't. Like
I
Jared,
can't
you're
look away.
taking a lot of static.
Jared.
Sorry.
he's just trying to sabotage me because I give all the best takes.
That's exactly it.
But no, I mean the scary parts were great. The brother stuff was amazing. Great episode. You know, a lot of shows I'm usually, especially one like this, it's a long one. If I'm gonna like jump in and try, this is probably about the time where if I am not happy with what's going on and haven't been impressed enough. But yeah, no, for this show, like the 5-episode cutoff, I'm in. They did enough good here to win me over and be willing to watch 15 seasons worth. So I can tell they're still finding their way, but this is one, like, if this is a blueprint for episodes moving forward, they've got a great system here. It was a great episode.
It's my
Jordan.
turn. I really liked it too. This one scared the shit out of me, but I really liked the episode.
As soon as I saw that kid yelling, saying Bloody Mary into that fucking mirror, I was like, Jordan's fucked.
Oh my god, man! Just like everything from like when she's in there and they start pounding on the door. I'm like, oh my god. And I have a
Cringe
problem.
himself.
I have a problem with mirrors. Like if it's late at night and I'm like getting ready for bed and it's all dark, I'll be like brushing my teeth. Sometimes these intrusive thoughts just say, "Don't look at the mirror because there might be something in there now." So I have a problem with mirrors. So this episode was hard to watch, but it was a good episode. I will acknowledge that.
Jordan's like, if you're in the house and you're ready to kill people, I didn't see you. Take the family, leave me,
Just
Leave me.
I'm not.
and we'll all just live our happy lives. Well, we'll pick up the pieces.
No, this one scared the shit out of me. It was a good episode, but I was unsettled the entire time.
So startled.
I was so startled. But I liked it. So
That's our next segment.
Characters. Okay,
Ooh.
so characters that we are introduced to. I'll start with the first. I mean, you get Donna.
A little girl.
No, you get Lily. And she's having a couple friends over, and she is the one who first pretty much summons Bloody Mary because they dare her to do it.
Who thought that they're about to see their first child killed on the show?
Yeah, 12-year-old Boop dead.
I couldn't
Right.
remember. I was like,
Like, I couldn't either. I was like, wait,
this
did they
little
start this
girl?
off with they start off with murdering a child? And then I was like, oh my god, they are going to kill her. And it turns out her friends are just dicks.
Yeah.
And Jordan pooped himself at that part.
I shat myself, but we got through it.
So after that happens, Dad or Steven Shoemaker, tells them that they need to quiet down and stuff. And it goes to him. And as we are walking along in the hallway there with him, I had this thought and I wrote it down. Who has this many mirrors in a hallway?
Saint, let me read my note.
That's a
Because
good
it was
point.
also regarding the mirrors. How many mirrors do you need in a house? Like 3 in a hallway?
How vain are
I know-
you?
One hallway.
In
And I
a
was like,
hallway.
1, 2, 3. It's like, what
It's
the-
supposed to make a room look bigger. That's fine. You're in your upstairs hallway.
It has an overview into
Totally
the room
lost
below.
I think
The
that
interior
was a
design
shout out
is a
because they
little
are
faulty.
pretty true to where they come from, and people from Toledo are all narcissists. So having that many mirrors in the house, I guess, was them like
There's no way
keeping
we're
it
from
real
Toledo
to
watching
the
that show.
location.
Yeah, nobody from Toledo is going to.
Nobody's watching this show.
If you're from Toledo, leave a comment. Let us know
Is it
how
true?
many mirrors you have in your house, and when you realize it's 5 times more than everybody else, don't get mad at me.
So, Dad, we don't see his death, but obviously very bloody because that is when we are introduced to the third character, Donna.
Who's out
Early
past her
2000s
curfew?
haircut. she comes on into the house. Her sister says that she's past her curfew, and then she walks upstairs and she sees the pool of blood and slowly opens the door and sees her dad. Which, rough bit for those kids. No parents anymore.
Yeah, because the dad murdered the fuck out of the mom.
Oh yeah, they never even mentioned that until later.
Allegedly.
Kids, why don't I mean you mean orphans?
There, that's another ending quote. You mean
Kids, you mean orphans?
so? Yeah, kind of rough for them, and then it jumps to our character Sam having another nightmare, and I wrote that down. He has nightmares twice this episode. So yeah, we get introduced to the Shoemaker family, those three, and we'll see Donna later in the episode as she is an idiot who doesn't believe it, and she
Also, how soon after becoming an orphan do you go back to school? Because it seems a little quick.
See,
right. Well, you got to keep them grades up.
you can't get a B. Come on.
Look, I know your dad died, and now you're a 16-year-old taking care of your younger daughter, but
Younger
the assignment
daughter.
was due yesterday.
But
What
we
the
have a
fuck?
quiz.
And it was due
and
yesterday. I mean, you
there's
could
no
turn in late
makeups.
if shooting for the star. If your dream school is Ohio State University, go ahead, turn in whatever. I mean,
They're from Toledo. They don't have dreams.
And schools, they don't have those.
Oh my God, we're just gonna get hate mail from anyone who ever
I'm
lives
sure
there.
for her, like the goal is if I do good enough in school, I can stay out of the foster care system, which,
Oh
my
the
God.
Ohio foster care system. Like,
Oh my God!
let's be real.
The bar has been.
I'm pretty sure they
moved.
just send you. I'm pretty sure if you were going to the foster care system in Toledo, they just send you to Akron.
Yeah,
Yeah.
here's your bus. All right, good luck.
Hope you find a
Akron.
LeBron to get you out of there.
We're gonna get more hate for you mispronouncing Akron than anything on
Oh,
that. So let's get it right.
Well,
That's
see, I
worse
didn't
than
want to
the-
say anything because I heard
Toledo
it. And I was
sends
like,
all of their foster kids to Akron, Ohio. All right, we're good now. No one will get mad anymore. We're good.
We're in the clear now.
We're in the clear. Well, you know what they say? Fuck them kids.
oh my God. So yeah, we'll see Donna later in the episode, and she's an idiot and doesn't believe it's going on. So she again summons Mary, which then goes after her friend, which we'll talk about her in a second.
That's a fucking dark story.
Right. So we are then in. Sam and Dean come in, and they instantly meet the coroner. They go to the coroner after finding it, and Dean goes with the
Another bullshit story that just doesn't work.
nope. Dean goes with it, tries to tell a story, about them needing to write a paper, and the coroner just calls his bluff instantly. And so then Sam gets the wheels rolling with money. Obviously, pulls out like
Cash.
20s and just gives it to the coroner so that they can see it.
I'm not supposed to actually show you that police report.
And more money.
My favorite bit about that is when they're walking away. He's like, Dean's like, that's bullshit, man. He's like, it's my hard-earned money. And
You
he's
won
just
it
like,
plain.
Poker.
Yeah.
My biggest fear for those scenes with the coroner was that they were just going to throw $500 down. He was going to pick it up and just be like, "I know what you're here for. I'll leave the room."
Oh my god.
Oh, no.
I,
Oh,
I was like, just keep it. Just as long as he's in the room. Like, all right, you guys,
Oh my god.
you're looky lose, whatever. But like, I need to make sure nothing bad happens here. That made me feel good.
Then we get introduced to a few more characters at the pretty much what is a wake at the house, and instantly when they walk in, Dean goes, "It looks like we're underdressed." Like, no shit, man, you're going to a wake.
Walking, it was there. Never. I wish they would have been like, "Should we come back tomorrow?"
Right.
Nah, they'd rather take someone's sad and miserable, that's when like we could take advantage of this.
And the
They're
thing is
vulnerable.
the thing is, do you think that, and they never show it, do you think that they ever actually plan what they're going to say so they're on the same page? No.
No,
Mm-mm.
no,
Doesn't
it's
seem
completely
that
obvious
way.
because as soon as one person decides on the story, the other one looks at them and then ad lib.
Yeah.
They're
And I'm like, just
brothers of close
get
age,
it
though.
straight.
I don't think it's needed. Like they know exactly what the other guy's thinking as they walk. Like they don't need it. They walk in, they're like, yeah,
We'll wing it.
They yes and their way
Find
through
the
these
sad
episodes
girl,
all the time.
question
And
her until she
then-
cries, get out. Like that's exactly what they're both just like. We know who's taking the lead the second they walk in. They don't need to.
And they just they go with the like the second time they've been called out on a lie because they say they worked with the dad, and the dad's a
Yeah.
day trader from home. So they've been called out
He didn't work with
twice in
anybody.
the first 10 minutes of
Well-
this episode.
Also, yeah, they're attractive dudes or whatever, but do we need to have the scenes of the teenage girls talking about the fact that they're hot? Like, is there a reason for that?
So yeah, we are introduced to Charlie and Jill, Donna's two friends, and afterwards, Charlie and Jill will be talking on the phone.
And Jill,
Jill, on the phone does Bloody Mary in front of a mirror and screams. And it scares Charlie, but she didn't actually have anything happen. And then we get Jill's death.
which that might be the scariest part of the episode.
It's very possible.
Yeah, I did
mean,
not like that scene at all.
because she was just moving around, and I wrote down so they can't see her, because she's just standing there and they walk by and stuff. And we hadn't really had that confirmed if they could see her or not.
Right. Only the person who's being haunted seems to be able to see her.
Okay. Yep.
Right. And actually, even them, then it's themselves that they see.
Not always though, because she saw the fuck out of her in the school.
Yeah.
Oh, true.
Mhm.
Yep. I didn't even think about that. Yep. And she's only seen her in reflections, like we're told. But yeah, so we get her death, and that's the gruesome part of that episode where we get the eyes starting to bleed. And we get that little piece of you killed him, you killed that little boy, which is revealed later that she did a hit and run on a kid.
Yeah. Ran
Also, let's talk about those reveals later. They're just fucking like, hey, in this scene, turns out she murdered a kid. In the next scene, turns out he killed his wife.
He killed his
Right.
wife.
There definitely
What?
should have been some police unit monitoring this group of people. We had man killing his wife. He dies mysteriously. Hit and run from a girl. Other girl. Suicide.
Okay, yeah. So
this is a very
question-
tight knit unit within what couldn't have been more than like a 3-year stretch.
So
Yeah.
question, does that girl later on go to the police and hey, I know what happened to these two mysterious deaths, like the hit and run. It was my friend that hit her. Oh, how do you know? Well, I was helping hunt down Bloody Mary, and
I was ghost hunting, and
we figured it
Oh,
out.
did-
That
Determined.
boyfriend I had, don't check his text messages where I convince him to do the suicide
No.
because that's why she was getting targeted.
It wasn't in the text. It was she just told him to his face.
Yeah, there's no proof of that.
Yeah.
also I want to say I think we've been saying the phrase too many times, and I'm gonna need you to not say it anymore. I gotta go to
Jesus,
bed
it
at some
isn't
point.
Voldemort, man.
Also, I literally thought that during the show, they're like, you know who
Yeah.
reported it.
So when that happens, Charlie, she contacts Sam and Dean, that's the other friend, and she, helps them to try and start to figure this out. So she goes into Jill's house and says that she wants to be, convinces the mom by saying, I just want to hang out and her stuff, but yeah, by myself, that type of stuff. And so then they get to one of the funniest parts of the episode.
Like night
Pulls out the
vision.
camera. turns on night vision, and Dean goes with the, "Do I look like Paris Hilton?"
Which, as a 2005 reference, is fucking perfect. Like, just fucking perfect.
Yeah. Okay. So that is a link to what I thought it was.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, it is.
Everyone's frozen.
I've
It
never
is,
watched that video myself,
right.
so I was like, that's got to be what that is. But
Right. Yeah,
I was just waiting
is
for the
what it is
mom to walk
referencing.
in and be like, "What are these two men doing in here with you, and why do they have a video camera?"
And why are you
Anyone hear me?
laughing?
The body's not even cold yet. Yeah, Eric, we hear you.
Yeah, you just came back. You're paused there for a second, but
Is
you're
it
back.
mine? Am I the issue? Am I the drama?
And he's
A
frozen again.
1,000 times yes. Oh my God. Is
Am I the
Is he?
drama?
he becoming self-aware?
He's learning.
So, yeah, he goes with that, and he sees, some type of residue on the mirror. So he takes the mirror off and rips open the back, and it says a name. And I didn't write down the name, but it says that.
It's
And
not important.
yeah, it is. It's the child that was
No.
in the hit and run.
Yeah.
That child's not important.
No, it's
Hold
the
on.
car in the car he was driving.
All these notes you're basing shit off, Jared, are notes you made yourself
What?
as you run through these. Are you taking that meticulous of notes through episodes as you
No,
run
I
these
just
down
remember
for us?
that.
I always assume you're just reading like a wiki on each of these episodes.
No. Mm-mm.
Wow, way to give him zero credit.
That's how we.
Well, he's getting. I'm pulling the credit out and putting it here now. These are so you're. Way to go! Wow. Well done. I'm thoroughly impressed. I was like, I just assumed because you go like step by step, scene by scene on a lot of these things. I was like, he must just have like some wiki about each episode he pulls up for these. That's
Nope.
way to go.
He's just
Thank
wicked
you.
smart.
We don't deserve it.
And
Go
and
ahead.
So then,
And
they have to go to the car to get a black light or whatever, and they use that black light to see the name. Which I don't understand why they need a black light when they could just use night vision.
I
Camera
think
again.
I think the idea is dried blood shows up better with black light.
I guess, yeah, you could say that. So then they go over to the shoemaker's
house.
house. Yeah,
Little
and they
shoemaker.
do the same thing with his mirror. Is it? I think it was his mirror,
Yeah.
Yeah, the one that.
or
Turns
was
out-
the one they said it in? But yeah.
She died of an overdose of pills. Turns out he fucking murdered her.
Right. Yeah. So the dad.
Now we'll say
It
this
says the mom's
after
name,
this-
and it must have done that. So.
after the suicide confession.
Oh, maybe he kind of
There's-
drove her to a place where she.
There's a shadow of doubt, I guess you could say, if you need that in watching the episode to think that
Right.
the dad's not. I'm not saying that's what happened, but
Right.
because of the
It's
suicide
possible.
one, you could put a shadow of doubt on him being the killer and just say that
Yeah.
maybe there was some other circumstance that led to it,
Mhm.
but that is by no means my theory on that.
And that's pretty much all of the characters that we get for the new characters in this episode.
One more.
Yes.
When well, we figure out who Bloody Mary might be after checking all the FBI and CIA databases, which they have access to apparently.
So you can just do from
Yeah,
a laptop
you
in
just
a hotel.
Google
Yeah.
it. Google it.
Just Google it. But they then
Mary
realize
Worthington.
Mary Worthington. So they drive to Fort Wayne, Indiana, which would normally be depressing, but they're leaving Toledo, Ohio.
A
Oh.
triumph of human will and dignity.
They did it.
And
They
we
made it out.
We do get introduced to the detective, I guess.
Right.
That detective.
And his story is
Yeah.
fucking depressing as
Yeah.
fuck.
But yeah, he goes through the murder of this Mary Worthington, how she had been sleeping around with some doctor, surgeon, and she was going to tell the wife, and the surgeon didn't like that. And this detective figured that it was the surgeon, but couldn't quite pin it on him because she had written, was it 3 letters, TRA or something like that?
Basically,
TRE.
things that pointed to him.
Right. And so tries pointing it to him, and he thinks it's the surgeon because it's professionally done. The eyes were professionally cut out of this girl. Which, okay, that sounds like a serial killer, not just a guy who's killing somebody to protect his life and
Yeah.
reputation. That's a serial killer. That's some that
You
type
could have
shit.
just regularly
Yeah,
killed her.
because they still identified the body. Like,
Right.
what's
That's some
What's with
mutilation.
going with the
weirdness.
eyes? Like, if you're gonna do anything to send a message, cut out the tongue.
If
Like,
you get that
don't
gooey
don't
skin.
tattle on me. You know what I mean? Like that type of stuff. But
Columbia
what did
necktie?
he say? Jordan, what did he say?
It had the word gooey in it.
Oh my god.
It's center.
It's
I'm gonna all in favor of voting Eric off of the show.
It's been 5
We
episodes.
We got
No.
5 episodes.
No.
It's been a
No.
good run.
Because the second he's gone, I'm the controversial one, and I cannot have that.
I'm here to
controversial.
protect you.
Yes.
He's the buffer for the rest of us.
The second he
Yo.
disappears, a lot of people are gonna be like, "That Zach has a lot of hot takes that I do not like."
All right,
All
so
right.
yes, the detective, that's who we meet, and that kind of sets up how they are trying to start to end this, wrap this up, figure out what to do against her.
Yeah. Real quick, when they're discussing that, it is the worst car CGI we've had yet.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. Because the family is supposed to have this mirror that she died in front of. So they call the brother, and it was sold to say antique emporium, but all I saw was goddamn mirrors in that place. So
Oh.
and
Yeah.
And mannequins.
mannequins.
Because you
An
know.
old
Mirrors
clock.
and
You hear the
mannequins.
clock ticking.
Yeah,
Yeah,
true.
let's just jump to that scene for a second because I got some notes. Is it actually possible for an antique shop to not be creepy as fuck at night?
Impossible. It's
At night, no.
During the
No
day,
way.
it's still creepy.
Which during that scene we get another busted story. I'm the store owner's son.
You're Mr.
You're Mr. Yamashiro.
Yamashiro's.
And then he cuts.
And they just cut away.
I
They're like, we
love
can't
that.
even like. If we do this all at once, it's gonna look like the dumbest thing he's ever said ever. So let's go away. Let's let you forget a little bit. We'll cut back and have him say,
You're
"What? Oh, I'm
Mr.
adopted."
Yamashiro's
It's
son.
almost like the actor just made that up, and the director's like, "Cut it, cut that, cut away. We got to figure this out." What the fuck was he
We
saying?
said make him look bad, not.
Stupid.
Oh, all right.
I told you I was adopted.
There are 2 fairly significant scenes before that. We have Carly dealing with the fucking bitch in the bathroom.
Oh yeah.
Which was maybe the most disturbing part of the episode for me, because the whole time I was kind of like, all right, so these girls are in college, high school, like I didn't know what to think. And then the first girl's death, I was like, they're showing a lot here. This must be college girls. There must be over
Right.
18 for
Right.
the show. And then we go to the school and we hear the bell ring, and I was like, oh, come on, seriously? We're looking.
They're old
You're showing us
seniors.
high school
They're
girls
old
like that, like,
seniors.
I was like, didn't sit right with me. That might have been one of the more disturbing
It
parts
wasn't
of
the
the
eyes being
episode where
gouged
I'm
out.
like,
It was that Zach saw possibly.
it's high school. I'm like, you should have led with that. Like, just
And then I just feel
Curfew,
for
I
the
think, was
teacher.
the
I feel for that teacher in the class when she just throws the freaking chair through the window. Like that teacher is gonna be like, "What the?"
What
What's
do I
going on?
do? What is happening?
like- I should have went out drinking last night.
Yeah.
Oh man.
only took till Tuesday this week to get a broken glass in the room. Okay, usually that's a Thursday kind of thing.
The I still don't understand why the Schumacher daughter is in school again already.
That's Eric's most
Stupid.
hot take thing.
Because it's stupid.
And she just immediately is like, "Yeah, I know my dad's brain and eyes were liquefied," and then it happened to another person right away. But
One of
it
my
gotta
best
be
friends.
one of my best friends.
Stop being an idiot. I'm gonna prove you wrong.
But it was
And
a
she did. That girl
stroke,
never
bro.
died.
Like,
Oh yeah, that's the worst part is she doesn't even get to prove it. She's like, she said that, then she went in there, had a panic attack at the school, threw it through glass, and then her parents don't come to figure out what's wrong with her or anything. The next thing
Two
we see,
random guys.
two
Two
random adults
They're
take a
motel.
teenage girl into a motel room with her head covered, close all the windows, and don't let her out. That's normal reactions right there.
All right, she'll be back in school on Monday because they do not accept truancy in this county.
Also, great parenting. Hey, this just happened to your daughter at school. Couple guys showed up, took her. It's night. That's it.
and
Two men matching their description beat the shit out of a couple police officers downtown at the antique shop. It's like, you know what? Let's have a pleasant conversation afterwards. It's fine.
it's fine. It's all.
She's
good.
gonna make mistakes. She'll learn. She'll learn.
We have to let her live her life.
So, Sam and Dean, let's talk about them for this episode. Okay. Sam, this episode was very poignant on Sam dealing with Jessica's death, because he has a couple nightmares
And a big secret we learned.
Yeah, big secret, very very large secret. That, and it's, when he's entrapped in the mirror, talking to himself, Bloody Mary is, it's revealed that secret, of that he knew, or he was having dreams about it,
Mm-hmm.
about
Big
what was
reveal.
going to happen
Big
to
reveal
Jessica.
for episode
Yeah.
5. That's
Episode 5,
a
that's huge.
deep plot cut there. That
And
was
that's the second, that's the
And
second time in the past 2 episodes that the demon or whatever is touching on what happened to him. Because in the plane episode, it comes at him about her as well.
There's also the development that he chooses not to share it with Dean.
True.
Interesting. I thought that was interesting.
what
Dean
was
definitely
running through my head that last scene where Sam says he's not going to touch on it was I couldn't figure out, because Dean's eyes were bleeding in that final confrontation with Bloody
Yeah.
Mary too, and I'm like, is this because at that point she was out of the mirror,
she can attack anyone.
Yeah.
materialized? I didn't know if it was like that, she can attack anyone, or if Dean also has a secret that
I was
could be-
wondering that too.
Yeah.
so
I
that
did have a question.
question that came to me. I just planned on wait and see on that one. I didn't have any other theories, but I did.
And second question for me is Dean that much stronger than Sam, that when Sam knew that he had to destroy the mirror, but he was being taken over, so Dean had to save him by breaking the mirror. But then when they're both being attacked by her, Dean is able to lift a very large mirror over himself so that he sees herself.
Maybe she
Is he
split her
just-
power.
It's very, we'll just go with that.
Yeah.
She split her
I
power then.
I think it's pretty obvious that Dean is the stronger of the two. Like, it's not even a question. He's
We saw them go at each other in the kitchen the very first episode. It was a pretty even fight.
Sam's
Yeah.
taller than him, so maybe.
that's because Dean has
Right.
to hold back in the fight.
Yeah.
Sam
The
doesn't.
other thing that's crazy to think about is the guy who plays Dean, he's like 6'2". The guy who plays Sam is fucking cute.
He's a giant. It becomes very. Spoiler alert. In later seasons, he looks massive. I'll just say that.
There's a
So
lot of
Jordan's
nude
man
scenes later.
crush,
You get
man
stacked up.
crush is
I knew.
so.
I always knew
Go
there was something me and Jordan wouldn't click on, and I knew he would be the Sam.
Oh my god.
Sam has his own set of skills, though. He shows that with the picking of the front door lock. And obviously, neither of them realized that there would be an alarm system there.
Which, if you know how to pick a lock, it seems like step 2 of that is
An alarm system.
check if an alarm system's going off when you're inside. Like,
You know, one thing I completely forgot is how fucking incompetent they are. That's so much of what they're doing.
Right?
They do so much right and so much wrong at the
not
same
like they
time.
could have addressed it if they'd known it was there. It's not like you just magically learn a code for punching that in. But
Right.
maybe you just decide we'll come back tomorrow and keep this 16-year-old girl's head covered in our motel. They did kind of have a ticking clock going there.
Yeah,
One that she might die in too. Like,
you can't just kidnap
someone
this
walks in, that's
girl
a
for so
big
long.
question mark. But
But yeah, Dean gave us the 2 best one-liners of the whole episode, I thought, with, you know, do I look like Paris? And I'm the owner's son.
Mr.
Yamashiro.
I'm Shiro's kid. And then it just cuts back to later. Like I said, I'm adopted.
It's adopted.
There's one beat in this that was pretty small that I want to bring up. Is I like the idea that this was a monster that they weren't aware of. Like the Bloody Mary myth was something that their dad never could prove was true. Which I think this is kind of a cool. It's always fun that like oh, this is something that they're just having to figure out. It's not a
Yeah,
like we knew this thing from
Established.
dad.
like this
Not
thing doesn't
established, this
happen
is-
everywhere. So
And
Like, to the-
also, go ahead.
I was gonna- also to the point of it's such a well-known myth that they would assume it's got some reality to it because he's like the fact that it said dad can never prove it's real tells you that their dad probably tried to prove it's real at some point.
Right.
yeah,
So, and also we get that touching base of, you know, Sam, you know, going, well, maybe this was just a natural medical problem. You know, he says that,
trying to discount.
right, trying to discount that maybe this just happened. You know, something weird happened with this guy's brain or whatever. But Dean retorts with, how common is it for us to find things that are scientifically natural and not be things that we deal with?
All the times the dad tracked things down, how often was ever a scientific audit?
Right.
Medical
Right.
thing. Yeah.
Medical
Right.
weird medical thing. Like,
Yeah.
no.
So, and they kind of touch on that. Any other things you guys want to talk about with Sam and Dean from this episode?
I have a non-Sam and Dean one because I want to get Jordan's thought on it. What do you feel
Okay.
about her bursting out of the mirror?
Like walking out of it, like almost like the Ring
Yeah,
style.
how'd you feel about that scene there?
I didn't like it. It was very scary.
All I could think of was Scary Movie 3.
I think the actual mirrors work was scarier than that.
Oh,
but
yeah.
But yeah,
Mhm. Like there were
still-
times where I like when they would start to show up, you know, like the very first one for the dad, you know, you were expecting her in the mirrors, but then when I saw her in the window,
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
and then or like when it was the girl later,
The
you
glasses.
know, I was expecting
Yeah,
the mirrors,
glasses.
but I saw her in the door and then in the glasses.
Any reflection
and
from anything.
yeah, exactly. And that's why their point was we have to keep you in here and cover up anything that's going to be reflective. So yeah.
I love the climbing out of the mirror part with the frame skippiness of it.
Mm-hmm.
It was
Mhm.
very scary, and I was like, "Oh, this just looks." It was a bit reminiscent, kind of the Woman in White. They did some similar like,
Like the
here there
choppy,
kind of
like,
thing, but
the creepy.
but this
movement.
was it fit with this thing. It made it the movement and the motion look creepy and unnatural, and it just felt. I was like, I don't know. I was watching like, oh wow, there's talent behind this, like,
Mhm.
and thought going in, because the CG of her going away again, garbage, trash, but the live shot parts. I was like, wow,
Yeah,
this is some
yeah.
really cool stuff they're doing
Right.
to make you feel off and put off and uncomfortable in this scene.
And going off of that, that scene, thoughts on Bloody Mary for this week. I mean, the creature this week. Go ahead, Zach, if you got a couple things.
I think she slotted in number two monster for me.
Okay.
In the 1 to 5 rankings we discussed.
Okay.
Yeah.
She body count wasn't high on screen, but the horror elements, the suspense elements, they were all great, and it was all rooted in her. And taking, of all the things they've done, this is the one that's easily the most childish of like widespreadness and like just the age, the age of like where it's addressed. I think
Mhm.
like this is like a 10 to
Biggie
12
Smalls.
kind of thing.
Biggie Smalls.
Yes, man.
Like
So-
the
so
point
to-
that the fact that it's large enough that South Park has mocked it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Everybody knows it, and they still got it to a degree of like realism, scary. It was very, very well done and well addressed.
I thought she was one of the better of the monsters that we've dealt with. And I don't know if you call her a monster or whatever, but the creature, the thing that they deal with, I thought it was one of the better ones so far. I mean, we're only 5 episodes in, so we'll see. But yeah, I thought it was well done, as he said. Eric, you got anything?
Yeah, I think it's actually my favorite monster that we've had so far. Like it goes into my number 1 slot.
Okay.
Because I feel it's the first one. It's taking a real big swing. Like it's taking a swing at something that's like, hey, this is everyone has an idea of what this is, and we're gonna say this is what our version of this thing is.
Okay.
Also, fucking scene scares the shit out of me. Like I get an uneasy feeling about it. And none of the other ones, like there's some scary moments, like they don't like unsettle me like these ones do. So Bloody Mary goes right to the top of my power ranking.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jordan, what about you?
Like I mentioned, this one scared the shit out of me. So she's definitely 1 or 2. I haven't decided between the water one and this one, because the water one really freaked me out too. But this one had more moments with the mirrors, which probably pound for pound, that was probably scarier. I think the deaths, the gruesome deaths of the water ones, I think drowning is one of the most horrifying ways to die. So that one probably wins for me. But I think overall the mirror work on this was just so scary that I don't know. I really like this monster or this creature, so I'd give her high marks for all around.
Okay.
I almost-
Perfect.
I cried a little, so I mean, you gotta give props for that.
All right, let's move on to our scariest favorite
Oh,
part
wait,
of the
what was-
episode.
But I did have a question
Yeah, go ahead.
that's coming up in my mind here. Is this the monster that the brothers were the least prepared for? Because
Yeah, they
everybody
didn't know
else is
really
like,
how to deal with her.
salt the body, burn it, or we
Right.
need we need the body. This one, it was like we break the mirror
maybe
that
we
she's
break
in,
the mirror,
and that was the plan, and it seemed like it worked. But even at that, they
yeah.
I'm thinking on the other ones, they all definitely, it was like we exercise
Yeah.
the demon in the plane. Like we need to find it, identify it, and exercise
My
it,
shit's
or we
being
need to do
shitty
this
again,
or that.
guys.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
This one seemed to be maybe, and again, one they have less, they didn't even know was real at the start, but
Yeah.
seemed to be one that they were less prepared for, or didn't have like a solid bulletproof plan going in.
Yeah.
Right,
And
exactly.
and
I
kinda
mean, in the
improvise.
first 4 episodes, they had ideas on what to do on each of them.
This
you know,
creature, we
like
kill
you
it
said.
this way.
Once
Yeah.
we know what it is, this is how we kill it.
it with fire. Yeah, we kill it with fire.
Yeah.
We kill it that way.
This
so,
thing was like,
Mhm.
yeah.
I don't know. Give it a good try. Next on that, how pissed would you be if you're the antique shop owner and you come in and a third of your freaking mirrors are
All of your
destroyed,
mirrors are just
and you see
shattered.
2 unconscious cops out front? Like, what the hell happened here?
Oh, they woke up, but they probably just walked in and like they're gone. We better get the hell out of
Well,
here.
I guess we'll
Everybody's gonna know we got
exactly.
our asses kicked. Yeah. Well,
Right,
and I
here's
don't.
the thing is
Were they
I
cops
did-
or were they security? Because I think the side of the car said security.
Oh, maybe they did.
I
Maybe they
think-
did.
They might have been like mall cops.
yeah.
Well, and that guy had to put quite a bit of money into it, because I searched up, how far it is from Toledo to Fort Wayne, and they traveled like an hour and a half. Whoever this Mr. Yamashita was, Shiro, to buy this mirror from this family. So scariest favorite part of the episode. For me, scariest part, actually. I know that you guys will probably say a different part, but when the little girl says it, and then the banging, on, the door, like that made me jump.
Oh no.
That made me jump, and that wasn't even anything that had to do with them. I mean, they're, like we said, they've done really well for these first 5 episodes of giving you this idea that something bad's going to happen here, but then it happens later, based on music cues, based on jump scares, that type of stuff. But that for me was the scariest part. Favorite, I don't know. There was, I know I said that is the funniest part, but them striking out 0 for 3 on lying about who they are. They're just so bad at it right now. And I hope in the next 300 episodes they get better at it, but I have a feeling that they will continue to strike out over and over and over. Zach, what about you?
All right. Best scary moment for me, it had to be I'm gonna forget her, Jill, looking in the mirror with the blood coming out of her eyes, because again, I was watching it, I was ready, I was like, if these eyes pop, I can't. I was like, it was like, this is getting me. I don't usually have a thing with eyes, but I was like, this is too far. And it was just stellar suspense. I'm happy I didn't have to watch eyes pop. It was either going to be shitty CGI and ruin it for me, or it was going to look real, and I was going to be just racked with. It played so well, but it's the first time on this show, first time I myself watched anything, have been ready, just
cover up your
questioning.
face.
I was like, I don't think I can handle watching this. And to even get someone in that state is amazing. So scariest, I thoroughly enjoyed that part, because it didn't end the way my brain was hoping it wouldn't. All the brother stuff was great in this episode. I mean, they were funny the whole time. It was interesting. They did some investigative stuff, and
I like how they showed how they cared for each other. He said, "Why'd you let me fall asleep?" Oh, because I'm a nice brother. I care for you. That type of stuff.
They're the clear anchors here. The support, the guests, kind of here and there. Knowing the second teenage girl definitely was the only other one that had any significant screen time. She was all right, but I mean, those two carried and pushed the show, and every time they came on, I was happy. I liked it. So
there you go. Eric, go ahead.
I'd say, well, scariest part of the episode is very close to Zach's for me, but it's the scene right before that. It's I've said it earlier, when she's just looking at the mirror, and then she looks away, and her reflection doesn't go with her. Like, nope.
I did it.
Don't need that shit in my life at all. You're telling you would shit yourself immediately if you saw something like that. If you were looking and
I'd
you
pass
saw your
out.
daughter in the mirror and she turned and her mirror reflection didn't change, you would
Comatose. I'm immediately unconscious. I can't handle
I
it
need you to
immediately.
just take a look at me for a minute and think about the number of seconds I commit a week to looking in a mirror. It's 3 seconds a week. So for me to catch that happen, it very well, Eric, could be happening to me daily. And I turn around and the thing in the mirror just goes, damn it.
I love the idea. It's like,
Again.
like he's gonna establish
Can't
eye
get this
contact.
guy.
I'm gonna get it done. I'm gonna scare the fuck out of him.
Yeah.
Like, and then he just turns and he never came back.
I haven't seen him since Tuesday. It's
Yeah.
Friday.
This guy has no idea. Like,
He hasn't
is he
washed his
thinking he
hands
looks good? He
without looking at the
doesn't.
mirror.
He doesn't. And I'm like, yeah, it's probably not great, but whatever.
I'm the trash
On with
man.
life.
The trash
That's
man.
there. I'm here. Let's go.
All right, Eric. Wait, what else?
There is a scene, so I'm kind of torn because either my favorite part of the episode is like, do I look like Paris,
Yep.
or it's Charlie's scene saying like, "This is what happened to my boyfriend," because I think that might be the best acted scene in the episode. Like, but you know, that's what happens when you date emos.
My God.
You're gonna sit there and tell me that I'm wrong?
Right.
Probably put on a red jumpsuit apparatus album before he offed himself.
Oh
Oh
my
my
god.
God.
I bet she used to wear. I bet there was fucking bangs like that and dark highlighter before he.
Insane clown posse makeup.
Got that juggalo going.
No, Juggalos take it out on other people.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
They lived in Toledo. He probably was a juggalo.
All right, Jordan. What about you?
Anyway, so I'm torn a
Curious
little
what your
bit.
scariest is.
The scariest is between two. It's between the one that Jared said at the beginning with the little girl and the door pounding, because I think seeing the fear on that little girl's face like made me even more afraid of what it was going to happen. So like the anticipation, I was just like holding my breath, and then the door they just were pounding on the door, and I had immediately I had flashbacks to like the Blair Witch Project. I don't know why, but I did, and it scared the shit out of me. So that's
For me, I had a
Yes,
flashback to like Paranormal Activity. That was mine.
I won't
That was
watch
my
that.
flashback.
I have not
Oh.
watched those. I've
All right.
seen trailers, and I like.
If we get
I'm crying
enough
by the end of it.
Patreon, like we have Patreon monthly goal, you guys will figure it out. Is we're gonna watch that movie. We're gonna
Oh
get
my
Jordan.
God. He has to play a
Oh my
game.
God.
We have to put him in the
Oh,
shoes.
No.
Oh no,
He
I
has to
think
play
just
Outlast or
I
something.
think- I think
Yeah.
what we do is we just have him have his wife and kids leave the building and wait till
No,
about midnight and then put on the movie
no.
and with a night vision camera and have him just film his reaction.
I cannot do that. I can't do
And
it.
you have to leave all your Wi-Fi baby monitors on in the house and have them in the room
No.
with you while you're doing it. So out of the corner of your eye, you're constantly like, did something just move in there?
Thinking about that just terrifies me. Like I can't even like imagine
There's
what
a
I would
s-
feel like.
Guys,
And
there's
then,
a
like
certain
your memory
those-
plays
everyone at
Luke
home,
in his
there
bed
is a
standing
certain
up.
amount
like,
of
he's
money
not
that
here.
will make him say, "Okay, we'll find it."
Yes,
Oh
It's-
my God.
it's not high either.
No,
No, look
this
at him.
guy needs money. He needs it bad.
They're not wrong. I need the cash.
He wears the hats because he can't afford shampoo.
If you've heard our feet picture conversations, you'll know that number is surprisingly low.
There's not a very large amount of money that it would take.
Super Neutral
Oh
Bros
my
Feet OnlyFans is coming. Bear with us.
Yeah.
Oh.
All right.
2024.
The other
So,
scary
Jordan,
part.
what
The
was
other
other
scary
one?
part is with the one that Eric said. What's her name? Jill. When the mirror doesn't move the way she does, that freaks me out. That is like one of the most horrifying things. When I see that in a movie or like in something, I shut it off. I can't watch it. I can't. So that
So-
part was really, really, really fucked up for me.
I
Um,
honestly, Jordan, I was watching this episode down the road. Uh, and I was like, there's no fucking way Jordan's getting through this episode.
no, I had all the lights on in the house. I was like looking away while I was watching it. I was like trying to distract myself. No, it's too much for me. I'm trying to think of another movie that I've seen that in, and I've probably tried to block it out of my mind. But yeah, anytime that shit happens, I no, immediately no.
What about your favorite part?
Um, the Paris Hilton thing was pretty funny. I really liked the part with the coroner for some reason. Just the way that guy didn't give a shit about what they were
He's
saying.
like, no,
He's
I
like,
see through your
I
lies.
don't care. He's like, no, just no. And then they bribe him. Like this is the first time they just like, well, this guy's not budging, so let's just give him money and he'll do it.
Right.
So I like
So
that
speaking
part.
of which, for that Patreon donation, whatever we get to, Gordon has to play that new Coroner Spirit game. I don't know if you guys have
Oh
seen
my
that one.
god.
What is that?
You're a
No,
coroner and you
Coroner.
work on bodies, and there's like spirits that come and mess with you while
that's a
you're
game.
doing it.
No.
Uh huh.
Mm.
There- There's this great clip I saw where a guy just fucking like he just turns the corner, and the closet's like this far open, and he goes by it, and there's just like an eye looking out of it, like
Oh.
a face,
Oh.
and then he turns back and it's gone. But then he pushes the door open and he turns on the light. And there's nothing in there, and then he turns and just this thing sitting on a cabinet staring at him.
Fuck.
I saw one where it
Ugh.
was he was on the computer looking up what he had to do, and all of a sudden, out of the corner of like behind the computer, like and it was like you couldn't see it very well because it wasn't in focus, but all of a sudden something like the body sits up while he's on the computer.
I want you,
You
guys
know-
to know I saw a clip from Friday Five Nights at Freddy's once, a like
Uh-huh.
20-second clip, and I had nightmares about it for a week. I was fucked up from a clip of that fucking game. If I
We
played
almost
it,
played it that night. That
I
you came
might
over to
have a heart
Eric's.
attack.
Remember
Oh
when
my-
we made you play Resident Evil?
Worst gaming experience of my life. It was horrible.
I enjoyed
I don't
it.
even know how long we played it, but I was not having fun. And that was just Resident Evil. Like there's dedicated
Resident
horror
Evil
7, to be
games.
fair.
Which one's the scariest? 7.
Mm,
That's the farm one, so I don't know.
Yeah.
There's the village too.
Anyways,
Yeah.
Supernatural.
What we're looking forward to next week, or I mean, for the next episode. And just to give you guys an idea, the next episode is called Skin.
Mm,
I'm so
right.
happy.
That's unsettling.
So, for me, I mean, I know I've used it, but just the pretty much continuation of the rise of Sam and Dean as characters kind of thing, getting to know a little bit more. I kind of hope that there's another kind of big breakthrough like we got through on this one for Sam and knowing his background a little bit more. But anything to do with that. Plus, I'm kind of, excited just to see what this next monster thing is going to bring. We finally got one where they didn't really know how to deal with it in this episode, so that was kind of interesting to see how they kind of pieced it together. But how they are going to be able to fight whatever this thing is, I'm looking forward to that. Go ahead, Zach.
I also looked at the title of the next episode and saw Skin. Didn't really bother me before, but when you said it, I had a flashback to.
Why?
The way he said it,
That wasn't the way you said it. It was just giving it more exposure in my brain. Had to uncover a couple layers of trauma here. I went back to me being like 12, watching The Mummy for the first time
Ooh, good one.
with the scarabs.
Uh-huh.
Of all the
when it
things in
crawls
that
out,
movie, the scarabs
The skin.
yeah.
just bothered me intensely
Yeah.
and disturbed me to no like probably is why I have issues with most just bugs at times like seeing that. So I'm hoping that doesn't happen. Any kind of literal skin crawly kind of stuff. Ugh, it's gonna be tough. Honestly, just thinking about now, like that next episode, this next episode could easily be one of the more disturbing ones, just because
Yeah.
anything to do with skin, I think for most people is an innately troubling.
Mhm.
You know, the it's not Silicon Valley. What is it? It's the Uncanny Valley. Anything around that, anything around just not looking right. Yeah, at this point, I'm not looking forward to the next episode because
Express eyes.
I'm getting
Psych
too many
yourself out.
ideas in my head. Like, I hope they're like, oh yeah, it's like their skin turns green. I'd be like, thank you. So I'm hoping
There's
it's people's
blue
skin turns
people.
green. Let's root for that. And people think they're aliens and throw
I
eggs
don't-
at them.
I
They
have
help.
bits and
They help a
pieces that
poor
I
little
remember
boy.
of this episode, and I'm not thinking that's it.
That's not it. Damn.
I know.
No, I'm not looking forward to the next episode at all. I'm
There you
deeply
go.
upset just coming up with what this might be.
Eric, go ahead.
Well, for me, kind of getting that revelation for Sam, I had completely forgotten that he'd had dreams about it ahead of time. Like,
Mm-hmm.
which tells me that I probably forgotten a decent chunk of what's going on with that bit of storyline. So I'm genuinely curious to see where that's going, because I'm thinking I might have forgotten more stuff than I realized I did.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm also like, we kind of got these bits and pieces on Sam. Like, we keep getting like peeling back layers on Sam, but Dean's layers haven't been like, this is my backstory. It's like, this is my character.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking forward to like getting deeper into his backstory again.
Okay.
Because by the time you get into the deeper seasons, they're not going like, well, remember back when? Like, we did that like the first 9 seasons. This is season 14. We ain't got time for that shit anymore.
Yeah. Just go, go, go.
And most of my memories are of those later seasons. So I'm very curious to kind of go back into those vaults of character depth and like, oh, this is what I did like 10 years ago and 6 years ago, and like kind of
Right.
find all the little pieces that we haven't got to see yet.
Mm-hmm.
Right. All right, Jordan, go ahead.
I'm looking forward to. I'm hoping for like. We've been kind of up and down on like action scenes, like fighting stuff. I'm hoping for this next one to be a big fighting stuff, like shooting stuff with the shotgun, fighting an actual monster. You know, I guess.
I mean, you got a trunk full of weapons.
Right. I want to see
Yeah,
him
we haven't
use
really
some of
even
that
used
stuff.
it.
Yeah.
Right.
Most of it's been like kind of spooky stuff, but I want it to be like, hey, there's a werewolf. I don't know, something
Right.
big for them to go fight and beat up and kill or whatever.
Right. The last time that they've used weapons was episode 2.
Yeah.
Like, they haven't used weapons at all.
Rest in peace, Roy.
So,
Is that Roy?
yeah.
Yeah, Roy.
Poor Roy. R.I.P. Roy.
R.I.P. Roy.
Rip Roy.
All right. Other than that, anybody have anything else they want to add?
Did we want to do the tier ranking of our current top 5 baddies? Like, this is obviously the very first 5 episodes,
Oh,
so it's
yeah.
not going to be
Sure.
Fuck
Gotta do our top 5
do
after
it.
5.
All right. So we're all going to throw Wendigo on the bottom, right?
Okay, let me think
Wendigo
about it.
Universal number
Let me
5.
think about it.
I mean,
Let's just
if
pick
it's a
who's going
universal
first.
one, yeah, I guess, yeah.
But I think we all need to do our an individual
Okay.
to start.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll kick mine off. Number 5 at the bottom of my list, I've got Wendigo.
Okay.
Number 4, Woman in White, the opening monster.
Okay.
And then I have the Demon on the Flight,
Okay.
then the Water Spirit, and then Bloody Mary. I think everything done with Bloody Mary here was just phenomenally well done. Scary, intense, it's got a good mystery behind it. Hits the boxes for me.
Good list.
I'm still writing mine down. Give me a second. If you want to go, Zach, you can.
Well, yeah. If you guys are working up yours, I'll do mine. So, For me, number 5, Wendigo. Yeah. Episode didn't help the monster much there.
Well, we're just
it's gonna
playing-
bleed in.
Are we doing just monster? Or are we doing episodes?
It's
Monster.
I
your
was
ranking.
thinking monster,
Okay.
but yeah.
It's your ranking list. You can use whatever criteria you want. That might make it a little different.
Fair enough.
But yeah, for me, number 5 is the Wendigo. Number 4 for me is going to be the Demon on the Flight. Number 3 is going to be the Woman in White. Second best monster on the show for me, Bloody Mary. And number 1 is the Water Wizard. Because I can't think of another name that sounds
Spirit.
good. Water Spirit. I like Wizard better.
Wizard.
Seeing that little blue boy
If you're
pop
gonna
his
put up that
eyes up
hood-
above the water
Oh
is
yeah.
still
Oh yeah. Yep.
In your head.
That's the part.
Still-
That's the part in that one.
yeah, still in my spirit personally. So that holds number 1 for me right now. Water Spirit. Not hard to topple. I mean, Bloody Mary is definitely close to number 2, but that's my ranking.
Jordan, you want to go? You want me to?
I can go. So my number 5 is also Wendigo. Not a huge fan. I'm going just based on the monsters. Number 4, I got Woman in White. I thought it was cool, but I don't know. I like the Demon. I thought the Demon's number 3. I might be a little biased on that one. Because anyway. And then number 2 is the Mirror chick.
The one we just
Why
did.
are you
Bloody
biased
Mary.
on the Demon?
He won't say
I
it.
can't tell you.
He
Go
won't
back.
say it.
I can't tell you.
Oh,
I can't tell
well, I'll
you.
tell you what. If you really want to make this video great, the way you should end it is when you get off of here, go in the bathroom, record yourself saying Bloody Mary
No.
3 times
No,
into the
I
mirror,
won't do
and
it.
we'll just did that as a
I
tag.
can't do it. That would be the hook at the beginning of the episode, but I'm not gonna do
You-
that. I'm not gonna do
Even if you only say it twice, it's a hook.
that. I can't do it.
Or you cut this so we only say it twice, and then we get it a third time at the end. That just it's over.
Oh my.
You know, it'd be
God.
great.
And then I'm not in the
It
next
is.
episode.
All right.
Luke
For me,
never says Bloody Mary again, and then at the very, very, very last episode we ever record, he says it one more time. And the show just ends.
It's done.
so
You can see
Jordan,
something
did you
coming
your
down
one?
my stairs.
Oh no.
Mhm.
So, Water Spirit was your top one then?
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, the Water Spirit was my top one. There were too many good moments in that one with the Water Spirit that, yeah, like when when it poked its head out of the water. I don't know. It was just good all around. The whole episode was good, but that monster had a lot of good moments.
Mine actually, my 5 is Demon Plane. I the only time I really liked the demon and Demon Plane is when they were doing the exorcism and it was talking to them. I thought that was the only decent part. Other than that, like the CGI just killed it for me with Demon Plane of the spirit going
That's fair.
around.
Fair.
Number 4 was Woman in White. Although it's scary for me just because you're driving along and especially for Sam, it gets in the car with him. He doesn't even stop. He hits her. She's in the car. Number 3 is Wendigo.
For a man like Jared who openly cheats, would have no qualms about stopping for a woman on the side of the road.
Get
It
in.
is a scary
We're
thought.
going to my place. Let's go.
Number 3,
Sorry.
Wendigo. And actually, like the opening scene of that one is pretty good for that. That's why I put it at 3.
And it's Murder of Roy.
Right. R.I.P. Roy.
R.I.P. Roy. We're gonna be in
number
like season
2.
6 and be like, R.I.P. Roy.
R.I.P. Roy.
The other
No
supernatural
one's
fans
gonna
like, how the fuck are they still on Roy?
Talking about
It
that,
sucked.
damn it.
Like I forgot about Roy by episode 4, and these guys are talking about
That
him
guy
in
had, like,
6
2
goddamn
lines.
seasons.
Number
We
2,
met
Water
Phil.
Spirit. But for
Okay.
me, Water Spirit was more about the sink drowning than seeing the little boy.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
That's
That's-
interesting.
That part's
Yep,
fucked,
and then-
man.
And the thing is for me, I almost put Water Spirit behind Wendigo just because I like that first part of that Wendigo
And
episode.
do it.
It is a
But
really good monster, like a
Right.
real, true, like monster.
real
movie.
monster,
Yeah.
true monster
Yeah.
that they're dealing with. And number one, Bloody Mary, and that's only because of the turning in the mirror, and she's still staring there. So, but yeah, that's my top 5. Kill count for this episode. We only saw 2 deaths, and we only got one off screen. Was one of those deaths? I mean, they just
Yeah.
find the body.
It's a
But-
shitload of blood on the floor.
But the
Yeah.
the one death that we do see is pretty gruesome.
Mhm.
So
That's like enough that it was collectively within our
Yeah.
scariest
Right.
moments.
Yes.
So it is one of the lower death counts that we've seen in these first 8 episodes, but still a high amount.
We get a-
anything-
We get
Go ahead.
a couple like tangential, like, oh, my boyfriend killed himself. Oh,
Right.
I hit a
That
kid
was
with
a
a car and just
Yeah,
didn't stop because I'm a
yeah.
bitch.
Oh, this doctor got
Um,
upset and creepily cut out my eyes with perfect surgical precision.
The
Oh,
wife.
I
the
gave my
wife
wife too many sleeping
took too many
pills.
pills. Yeah.
So yeah, those are all those ones on that. Other than that, I think that kind of wraps up what we've been talking about. Anything else anybody wants to add before we cut out here?
Closing.
In closing. No, I got nothing. Oh,
In closing.
you thought this was going to be brought to you by Bush Light?
Eat the rich.
Think again.
Bush Light. Eat the rich.
Eat the rich.
You see someone
Bush Light.
drinking.
It's acceptable if you're even Toledo. Bush Light.
Even for you lesser humans in Toledo.
Whoa!
Heavy humans
whoa.
of Toledo.
That's not Akron.
It's not Akron. I mean, you can't even
Oh
find
my
Bush Light in
God.
Akron.
Oh man. Nothing like alienating your potential audience.
Yes, as we continually
There's
destroy
gonna be
any audience that we will ever have.
an
I would like to
entire
thank you all
The
for
good
joining
news
us.
thread
is, the good
Of
news
people
is,
from Ohio being like, "What the fuck does Iowa? Why does Iowa have beef with Ohio?
Why
Like,
do they
they're
hate
too
us?
far apart. They don't intermix. Like, what happened to these
They
guys?
sound
They have
too
problems. Like,
similar.
Here's the
we've
thing:
been
is we
all
don't
over
want
the
any
US already.
audience. We don't want any audience.
I'm
So
still here.
as we continue going, every city that comes up is getting some shit talk going.
will be offended.
Just trying to make it
If
fair.
they've been to California, Colorado, Wisconsin, nothing. Nobody makes a single ill comment. And all of a sudden, we hit Toledo, Ohio, and just fucking shit storm from all of them.
Hey, that's not fair. But also shit on Fort Wayne, Indiana.
That's just like
Yeah.
shooting fish in a barrel. I mean,
As we wrap up here, I just want to thank everybody for joining in on episode 5 of Super Neutral Bros. Thank you all for myself, Eric, Zach, and Jordan. Thanks for joining in, and have a good night to everyone except for those who live in Toledo, Ohio.
yeah,
We're truly
go fuck
sorry.
yourselves,
Go
Toledo,
fuck
Ohio.
yourself, Toledo.
Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary.
No.
Oh my
God
god.
damn it.
Ah!